Trumpet blast for the 6th trumpet army. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm in my holy mountain. In this video, we're going to talk about the seal of Seraiah. Okay, and the Euphrates scroll. What do these things mean? It is the assembly of the great army, the great 6th trumpet army. Now, it's very important that you understand the patterns of heaven, the order of how the camps and the Lord of hosts work. There are 4 cherubim around the throne. There are 4 wheels, okay? And there are 12 tribes. They're ordered by tribes, lion, ox, man, eagle around the throne. The 4 cherubim have 4 faces. They have 4 wheels, okay? And the children of Israel gathered around the Ark of the Covenant with main tribes, lion, ox, man, eagle, Judah, Ephraim, Reuben, Dan. And that is the camp of the saints. So in the book of Revelation at the end where the millennium takes place, it is the camp of the saints. It is organized by the 4 spirits of the heavens, the 4 winds, the 4 horns. And the first 4 seals is this pattern, this order of the military, this order of this structure. We have many videos on this, but we're presenting this to you in our intro so that you understand the basics. When the Lamb opens a seal, it's the Lord of hosts army. Those are the horse riders, okay? And then the army is gathered, and it comes from this scroll of the Euphrates, okay? So this is also land. It is the promised land, the land promised to Abraham. Okay, so there's a census, there's a people, there's a great trumpet that is blown to assemble this army because the Lord of hosts army is very great. So around the throne, you see the 4 cherubim, the 4 wheels, lion, ox, man, eagle, the 4 cherubim. The temple also reflects this organization and structure with the gates, east, west, south, north. Okay, so that's why there are chambers, okay? There are scribes' chambers in the temple, which show us how these seals work. When the 6th angel sounded his trumpet, I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar. That's the altar of incense, which stood before God, and the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, said, "Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates." Okay, so the 6th angel saying, loose the 4 angels, okay? The 4 angels are patterned after the 4 horns of the golden altar. They're called the 4 horns in Zechariah chapter 1. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, a day, a month, and a year. This is a parable. We find the answer to this parable, this mystery, in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 59. And the word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah. This is Seraiah's seal. The son of Neriah. That's what it says on this seal. Belonging to Seraiah, son of Neriah. And he went to Zedekiah the king of Judah into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. This Seraiah was a quiet prince. Okay, we actually have his seal. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil. Okay, so he wrote in a scroll all the evil which would come upon Babylon, even the words which are written against Babylon. Then Jeremiah said unto Seraiah, when you are come to Babylon, and you will see, read the words. So Seraiah, this is his seal. He was to read the words of the prophet Jeremiah, which is Jeremiah chapter 51 and 52. Okay? So he reads the words against Babylon. Okay? And then you shall say, The Lord has spoken to cut off this place, nothing shall remain. And when you have made an end to reading the book, you will bind it to a stone. Okay, you bind it to a stone, and you will cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. So he was to bind it to a stone, the scroll, and take it and throw it into the Euphrates. So when we get to Revelation, and it's talking about the 4 angels, okay, the 4 angels are in the scroll. They're not in the Euphrates, they're in the scroll. They're in Jeremiah chapter 51. Now pay attention what's going on. This scroll is attached to this stone, and the stone, with the scroll attached to it, is thrown into the river Euphrates. Now what's going on with this stone is also very important. It goes on to say, and it shall be when you has made an end of reading the book and you cast it into the Euphrates, you shall say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her. So this stone is not any stone. When the scroll of Jeremiah 51 and 50 and 51 is cast into the Euphrates, you can see that there's a stone. Well, this stone is a millstone. Okay? So a millstone, you would, grind up your wheat. Okay? This is a great mystery, guys. Pay attention. Because the stone that's cast to the scroll, that's cast into the Euphrates, we can read about this stone. All right? And so it says in Revelation 18:21, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea. Okay, so you can see the same thing is happening. Just like the stone was attached to the scroll, it was cast into the Euphrates. Well, Revelation 18:21, a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more in you. Babylon is fallen. Okay, you understand that? That's why this stone is significant. The stone is attached to the scroll, and the scroll is thrown into the river Euphrates. Okay? All this symbolism is very, very critical. That's why I want to show you the props. Many of you say, okay, Leland, the props are very helpful. You can see everything. We have Seraiah's seal. We have the 6th trumpet. You got the 4 horns. Okay, well, who are the 4 horns? We heard about them in Zechariah chapter 1. And the angel of the Lord answered and said, Lord of hosts, how long will you have mercy? Or actually, let's go to this verse. I lifted up my eyes, and I saw, behold, 4 horns. Okay, these are the 4 horns around the altar. And he said, what are these? Okay. And so this is all this symbolism, the seal of Seraiah, the trumpet. Okay, let's look at the trumpet, and let's look at the 4 angels. The 4 angels must be in Jeremiah, right? And here they are, the 4 angels. We're in Jeremiah 51, and you can see 26, and they shall not take for you a stone. Okay, again, we have all this symbolism, guys. The stone. Set up the standard. Blow the trumpet. We're blowing the trumpet. This is the 6th trumpet army blowing the trumpet in Zion. Blow the trumpet against the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call against her. Who is this? Babylon. Now here's the 4 angels right here. Ararat, Mini, Ashkenaz, and Medes. These are the 4 angels right here. It's in verse 27 and 28. And it said, appoint captains against her. These are the 4 captains of the host, guys. Okay? And cause the horses to come up. So these are the horses that you see in Revelation at the 6th trump army. Okay? And cause the horses to come up as rough caterpillars. Well, they're going war against the 5th trumpet. The 5th trumpet is the locust army. So that's what it's talking about there with the caterpillars. This is the war that's going on. Prepare against her with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and the rulers in the land. And the land shall tremble of sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. So that is the war, guys. These are the 4 angels. So isn't that amazing? The mysteries of God revealed in a small piece of clay. Seraiah, the son of Neriah, the scribe. So guys, that is the great mystery of the 6th trumpet army. And so what we're doing is we're blowing this trumpet. We're assembling this army once again, the Lord of hosts army against Babylon. Now is the time for judgment. Okay? Now is the time for the prophecy to be fulfilled. Now, some of you may ask, well, Leland, when is it says they're prepared for an hour, a day, a month, in a year? Well, remember we saw the millstone. Okay? This is already going on because you saw the millstone. Okay, the sound of the millstone will be heard no longer. All right? So you see this millstone, and we believe it's the millstone that's attached to the scroll, which is in the river Euphrates, right? Well, this language is significant because we see it in Jeremiah and Revelation. Let's go to Jeremiah 25, and it tells us the timing. Okay, the timing is always very important. Jeremiah 25 and verse 10. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of myrrh, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstone. Okay, the sound of the millstone, the light of the candle. The whole land shall be desolate in astonishment. Okay, this we saw, guys. This was coronavirus. This was the shutdown. This is Babylon is fallen. All right? And the whole land shall be desolate in astonishment in these nations for these 70 years. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished. Okay, 70 years are accomplished. 70 years from when? The establishment of Israel as a nation, 1948. 70 years from 1948 is 2018. Okay? Now, that is the, must be when those 70 years are accomplished. Okay? Then I will punish the king of Babylon for their iniquity in the land of the Chaldeans. Okay? So there we see this millstone, okay, and this sound of the harpers, this prophecy of Babylon's fall. And we read the angel, the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down and not be found any more. The voice of the harpers, the musicians, the pipers, the trumpeters shall be heard no more in me, no craftsman, no craft shall be found any more. The sound of the millstone shall be heard no more in thee. The light of the candle shall shine no more. The voice of the bridegroom and the bride, and he shall be heard in thee. For the merchants were the great men of the earth, and and by their sorceries, pharmakia, the vaccine, okay, were the nations deceived. Okay, so this is all going on. You can see that the vaccine is pharmakia in the Greek. So when this the prophecy takes place, we're seeing it all. We saw Babylon is fallen. Okay, so now we must begin assembling this army. Now, if you followed this channel, you might say, for a few years, okay, this is 2020, 2.5 years ago, guys, we blew this trumpet in the mountains of Ethiopia. We blew the trumpet, we said, assemble the camps, lion, ox, man, eagle, east, west, south, north. Okay, we taught this whole thing, okay? And you might say, well, Leland, you blew the trumpet for the 6th trumpet army 2.5 years ago. And now you're saying it's assembling again. Yes, it is. It's assembling again. Because the prophecy is like the book of Exodus. It's a pattern of the book of Exodus, okay? In the book of Exodus, the children of Israel assembled around the Ark of the Covenant with this pattern. They built the incense altar, okay, with the 4 horns, like you see here. And they assembled lion, ox, man, eagle. Judah, Ephraim, Reuben, Dan. okay, and the rest of the 12 tribes. And then what happened? They were not worthy to enter the promised land at that time. They had to wander in the wilderness. The same thing happened to us. Same thing happened to this army, okay? Instead of entering the promised land, okay, we had to wander into the wilderness. We had to wander in the wilderness up until the time that the army is assembled a second time. Okay, so the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness, and afterwards they did a census. They assembled once again, led by Joshua, Yehoshua, and they entered the promised land. That's what we're entering now. Okay, remember Joshua, he blew 6 trumpets around Jericho. Okay, so hopefully you understand that that is what's taking place. We're being assembled. You see the number of the army. You see the war going on against Babylon. Okay, many of you in my audience, you're in Babylon. You're in America, okay? It's not just America, but you're there. So you have to fight. You're going to have to stand. You're going to have to enter this army, or you'll be overwhelmed. Now, another thing we mentioned in the intro of the video, this relates to land. This relates to the promised land. It's not by mistake that the prophecy has the Euphrates River mentioned, okay? And someone mentioned this in comments, and I was like, that's amazing. Okay, here it is. Isaiah chapter 27, verse 12. This is the ESV translation. The King James reads differently, but I can actually see where they translate it this way. In that day, from the river Euphrates, okay, from the river Euphrates towards the east to the brook of Egypt to the west, the Lord will thresh out the grain, and you will be gleaned one by one, O people Israel. So this is giving us boundaries to the promised land, okay? And again, that's what the meaning of is Abraham was promised the land from the river Euphrates to the great river Egypt, the Nile, okay? So that is the promised land, and the promised land is by faith. Abraham obtained the promise by faith, okay? And so it's by faith. It's not by nationality, okay? And that's what this army is doing, okay? In that day, from the river Euphrates unto the brook of Egypt, okay? And verse 13, in that day, a great trumpet will be blown. And those who were lost in the land of Assyria, okay? So the land of Assyria is what feeds the river Euphrates. And those that were driven out in the land of Egypt, okay? So the land of Egypt, you can see this is clearly talking about the promised land. The great trumpet shall be blown. Those that were lost in the land of Assyria, those that were driven out of the land of Egypt, will come and worship Yahweh in the holy mountain at Jerusalem. You understand what's going on? So it's prophetic of the people being gathered into the promised land where Christ will reign for the millennium, the 1,000 years. Okay, that is also part of this trumpet, this army. Okay, that's why the scroll was cast into the Euphrates, because it is God's promise to Abraham, okay, the promise of the land, okay, that his children would inherit the land. How did Abraham inherit the promise? By faith, okay? How do Abraham's children inherit the promised land? By faith, okay? It's by faith that there's neither Jew nor Greek, okay? Male nor female, bond nor free. We are all in one in Christ Jesus, by faith in Christ Jesus. That's how the promised land is obtained, okay? So that's the war, guys. That's the war. The information I just told you is the war, okay? There's a lot of people that will come against that. But we're blowing the trumpet in Zion. We're assembling this great army once again, that we come and we stand with the Lord of hosts, okay? Now, there's lots of videos on this, guys. This is the playlist, the Great Army playlist, okay? And the authorization, as we mentioned, is the seal of Seraiah. Okay, we have the seal of Seraiah. We have the authorization. This, guys, is a principle of archaeology proving prophetic events. Okay, I've been teaching this for years, okay? But I have the authorization, the Most High led me through amazing circumstances to actually have these seals. The seals of the prophet Baruch, okay? The seals of Isaiah, Hezekiah. We're going to have more videos on this, guys, but these are the biblical seals, okay? And you can get these. I'll put a link to show you where you can get them, okay? But they show you the scriptures, where the people are in the Bible, okay? So this gives us the authorization, okay, to blow the trumpet in Zion to assemble the sixth trumpet army, because it was Seraiah that took the scroll of Jeremiah chapter 50, 51, took that and cast it into the Euphrates. Now in the last days, his seal, okay, attached to that scroll, comes out of the river, okay, to loose the order of the four angels, lion, ox, man, eagle, east, west, south, north, okay? The order around the throne. Remember, the order comes from the throne, okay? The voice came from the four horns of the golden altar, okay, to assemble this army, to blow this trumpet, okay, to assemble this great army. Why? Because it's the time of war, guys. The beast has declared war. So, guys, thanks for watching, okay? I always say this, but you don't listen. Please, the links in the description field, be into this great army playlist, okay? Please. As well, this is, part of other playlists that are very, very important for us. We're releasing all these seals. We're going through them one at a time. We've done the seal of Isaiah. This is part of the design of the temple. Okay, the design of the temple has a scribe room, and the scribe room has all these prophecies that must be released, okay? Before we conclude, guys, I just want to talk about the war against Babylon, okay? In the time I've been teaching on this great army for a few years, guys, it's really gotten worse, okay, since we've announced Trump as the Antichrist. So you'll really see that the apostate church is pretty much unified on the Antichrist, okay? So that is Babylon. Now that's going to get much worse. So once you believe and once you stand your ground, you stand in faith, okay, the war of Babylon is going to increase and increase and increase, okay? And I just want to point out before we conclude the prophecy in Jude talking about this army against Babylon. It's Jude 14, and he's quoting the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch, the first book of Enoch, chapter 1, in verses 8 and 9, is read right here in Jude. In Enoch also the seventh from Adam prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints. So he's coming with the saints. This is this mighty army. Why? To execute judgment upon all, to convince all that they're ungodly among them of their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, in all their hard speeches, and ungodly sinners that have spoken against him. Okay? So all you wicked and trolls, you're just showing who you are. Okay? You're showing whose side you're on. You're with Babylon. Okay? You're defending the Antichrist. So guys, if you get on social media and you talk about this stuff, you'll see it. Okay? These are murmurers and complainers, walking after their own lust, their mouth speaking great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage, okay? So this is, Babylon is going to rise up worse and worse. You'll begin to identify, guys, if we're in the body of Christ with another, we're not fighting each other, okay? We're not trolling one another. We're supporting, we're supposed to walk in love, okay? But now the love is out. Okay, men's hearts are failing for fear, and the love will become worse and worse, and the attacks will become worse and worse. Okay, so we walk in love towards them, all right? But I'm just saying, if you speak about Donald Trump as the Antichrist, you'll see it, all right? Now, they're hired on social media. They hire troll farms. There's tons of them. They just sit on their computer on troll. In China, they're called 50 cent. Every comment is 50 cents. But anyway, Guys, I feel sorry for them because they're headed to the lake of fire. A lot of people that are worshiping Donald Trump, that are on the side of Babylon, they're with the locust army, okay? They're with the they talk religion, they talk a lot of stuff. Guys, you look on YouTube. Look at all the people supporting Donald Trump. He's going to save us. No, he's not. He's the Antichrist, okay? And he's going to lead you to hell. But Jesus Christ is the only way, truth, and life, okay? So, guys, we say, as we conclude each video, so fear God. Give glory to him. For the hour of his judgment is come. Worship him that made the heavens, the earth, the seas, and the fountains of waters.